Hi everybody, thank you for attending again today. My name's Anna, I'm the marketing lead for Advanced Email Encryption, and I've got Dan with me who's product specialist. We'll just start off just telling you a bit about Cobweb. It was founded in 1996. We've got over 6,000 customers on our platform, that's just over 200,000 users. We're Europe's largest independent cloud communications provider, a bit of a mouthful, and we're the first company in the UK to have customers on our Host Exchange 2013 platform, and also the first cloud hosting provider to sign a customer to Office 365 through our Microsoft CSP program. Some of you may have noticed that we've recently rebranded. We held an event last month to celebrate this. It went really well, we were really pleased with it. And there's some really good content there which we'll be publishing to our website early next week. So just keep an eye out for that on www.cobweb.com. There was some really good speakers there, so it's definitely worth looking at. We're currently exploring some new avenues to expand our product portfolio, and Advanced Email Encryption is one of these. It's a great product, but I'll let Dan tell you a bit more about that.
Perfect, thanks Anna. So thanks again everyone for joining. What I'd like to do today is have a bit of a discussion around large file transfer and file sharing in the workplace. So that's whether you are sharing files and messages internally within your business, or you have a need to send information, emails, and attachments to customers. How do you make sure that that information is secured? How do you make sure that you can control access to that information even after it leaves your business? And how do you be a little bit more productive when sending files, contracts, and other information outside your business? Now, email is still the predominant means of business communication in the workplace. We still live and breathe in our inboxes every single day. And as we've seen computing power increase, as we've seen storage capacity increase, we've also seen a parallel increase in the size of files that we're working on, that we need to share internally, and that we need to send to customers. If you've ever tried to send a PowerPoint file, especially a PowerPoint file that's been edited and saved a couple hundred times, you'll always notice that those files are often absolutely massive. That poses a problem to you. You need to ensure that you have an email ecosystem that's able to attach and send files of that size. But I would say more importantly, it poses a problem to your recipients. You don't always know what solution your recipients are using for their business communication. For example, you don't know if they have an email environment that accepts large file attachments. You may worry about those attachments being sent to a junk folder, or you may worry about bandwidth issues preventing those files from being accessed at all. Those are all inherent limitations with the SMTP protocol, and that's why we're seeing a proliferation in file sharing applications today. That's why we're seeing an increase in cloud-based solutions, Dropbox, Google Drive, many, many others, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we continue the presentation. One stat for you there at the end, recent research suggests that 70% of employees are utilizing some form of file sharing application in the workplace. And now if you're not providing a platform or a service to allow your employees to share files, then rest assured they're going out there, they're finding something else, which could pose a security risk to your business and could introduce threats as well as inefficiencies within your employee base. Now, the need to share electronic files is certainly prevalent in every single industry. A couple of examples for you. Financial services often need to share detailed financial information, customer portfolios, or perhaps the results and the statistics around how well certain financial packages or services are doing, how much interest they're gaining, etc. Any legal office, any law firm often needs to send quite a ridiculous number of files around, and these files are often quite large. They often rely on courier services or encrypted hard drives. We have more examples in the healthcare space, in the insurance space, in the government space. I would say any SMB or enterprise organization is currently using some method or some platform for sharing files internally and externally. More and more, however, we're seeing employees go out and find their own solutions when there is no product, there is no platform made available for them. And as we said, that is a significant problem and a significant risk. So a couple business questions for you as a professional in the workplace. How do you know when a recipient has read or accessed information that you've delivered to them? So that could be a simple email, that could be a follow-up message, or that could be a contract or a piece of information that you need to send in order to ascertain whether or not to move forward with a particular customer. Have you ever wished that you could undo or take back something that you sent in error? Certainly from a business email standpoint, but also a personal email standpoint. I have seen a lot of examples of that, sending something to the wrong recipient, adding incorrect information, or perhaps not sharing the correct file type. The third point there, how do you control access to sensitive documents after you've delivered them? So if you're composing something for a customer, you send it to them, how do you make sure that you retain access to that information? How do you make sure that you can revoke access to that information at any point in time? These are questions that you should be asking your IT service provider and any kind of file sharing service provider that you're using. Now, what are some things that an email or attachment, excuse me, an attachment could contain in the workplace? Looking at any business, every business needs to generate revenue. Therefore, every business has some kind of sales pipeline report, some kind of forecasting, or especially conversations between executive management, board directors, where the future of the company is scrutinized and strategies are discussed and put in place. That's often shared over email. That's often sent over email, both inside the business and outside the business. And you could argue there should be a little bit more control and security around that information. Think about the commercials for business agreements, non-disclosure agreements, or any discussion after an NDA has been put in place. Think about personal and private data of your employees, but more importantly, data that belongs to your customers and that you're liable for if you ever lose access to that or share that inadvertently. Think about employee healthcare information or HR reports, disciplinary proceedings, bonuses, that kind of thing. That, again, is information that's shared regularly today over email through file attachments. Certainly not secure, and there's certainly a lack of control over the sharing of that information. So what happens when you're sharing data, you need to send large file attachments and a solution is not available inside the business? That's where employees are going to turn to consumer-grade file sharing applications. That's where shadow IT potentially enters the business. Look at any cloud-based file sharing application out there. There's often no requirement for a local install. There's no ability for an administrator to control who can or cannot sign up to those types of services. We see reports of over 80% of employees admitting to using software as a service, to admitting using cloud sharing, cloud-based applications in the workplace without explicit approval from IT. So where are these services hosting data? Where is all this information stored? Over 70% of U.S. American cloud sharing applications used by employees and organizations over here in Europe do not fall under the Safe Harbor Agreement. Information shared using those platforms is available and accessible by the U.S. government and other authorities. So if you're not providing a way to share files, a way to securely allow employees to send large file attachments, rest assured your employees will find their own way to do that. And again, that poses a significant risk to your business. Looking at some statistics out there in the marketplace, what are the effects of data breaches? What are the effects of situations where you lose control of data or you inadvertently deliver data to the wrong recipient? Most of this, as you can see there, 40%, occurs because of human error. So even if you're providing employees with the tools to securely and safely share information, you need to take into consideration human error and develop protocols as well as ensure that your IT system works for you and reduces the impact of that human error. So what are some things that you can do to help? One example is looking, researching, considering a secure messaging application, a secure messaging platform, something that gives you the ability to encrypt messages, encrypt data, reduce human error by automating the delivery of that data, but more importantly, allow you to share file attachments of any size. Your employees need a way to securely send, receive, and track this information, and of course, they need to be able to do it from any device wherever they are, at work or at home or on the road. Now, looking at secure messaging solutions, again, there's many out there. What are some of the things to consider? Of course, it needs to be able to encrypt and deliver messages completely under your control. You need the ability to add files of, let's say, up to 5 gigabytes in size. You also need features other than security features, other than encryption. Unless you're in a regulated industry, a regulated space, there may be no room in your budget to be able to pay for an encryption service. So this solution needs to add value in other places, allow you to track information, control information, as well as give transparency into who's using it and which users are sending what file. It needs to integrate and add value to your existing solutions, not as a replacement, let's say, to an email service or another application that you use, but rather an enhancement, a wraparound. It also, of course, must keep sensitive information within your desired data jurisdiction, whether that's within the EU or more specifically in the UK. And we're seeing that become more and more important in the marketplace as customers are concerned where their files are being stored, who has access to them. One of the solutions that we'll show you in a couple minutes is a Cobweb solution, and it revolves around adding a delivery slip to each and every business email that you choose to send using the platform. The delivery slip lets you know when email has been received, read, replied, or forwarded, even printed or deleted by any of your recipients. It allows you to enact post-send controls on messages. That means revoking access to messages instantaneously, no matter where that data may reside. It also has integrated large file transfer right from your mailbox. Again, not forcing employees to use anything different, but adding value to the systems that you already have in place. Secure messaging enhances, it does not disrupt employee workflow and the way that people are already communicating internally and with customers. It works in Outlook, it works on mobile devices, or it works right inside Office 365. Looking at some of the business benefits of secure messaging, yes, it's an encrypted file transmission solution. Well, what type of return on investment do you see as potentially the owner of a business? We see increased brand protection and reliability. That means if you're using a secure messaging platform solution to send and receive files between you and your customers know that you take their data privacy very seriously, and you're taking a couple very important steps in order to protect that information. Secure messaging means security wherever you are, whether you're in the office, on your way home, at home, or on a business trip, potentially. It needs to be cross-platform. It needs to be available on your mobile and your tablet. It needs to enhance and increase your productivity. Being able to send a secure message right from your email as opposed to going down and delivering it via courier is a cost saving, but also a time saving. At the end of the day, most importantly, it must be easy to use. Not everyone is comfortable using IT services and software. You often see a range of ability within any type of business, so you need a solution that is applicable to the lowest common denominator. You need something that's usable by everyone. What I'd like to do now is just stop for a minute or two and see if we have any questions from any of our audience members. And then we're going to go ahead and explore one of the solutions that we have available here at Cobweb that may assist in any need or any desire to be able to share securely large files and messages. So we have a couple questions from the audience. Thanks for those. Feel free to just type them into the GoToMeeting console there, and we'll be sure to answer them now or at the end of the presentation. One question is, what is the solution that we're talking about and that we're referencing on this call? Secure messaging is a new platform. It's a new piece of functionality available now through Cobweb. Feel free to go to the website and take a look, or let us know if you'd like more information, and we're more than happy to send you that after the call. It includes Cobweb Hosted Exchange and Cobweb Advanced Email Encryption, and it's something that we'll show you in a couple minutes here once we get into an actual product demo. Another question we have, how much does the solution cost? What's the cost to add this capability to your existing Cobweb services, or perhaps if you are a new customer, what is the price to you? Adding advanced email encryption to your current services is only £5.25 per user per month. No setup fees, no user minimums. So that's something that you can add to your entire business, or that's something that you can add to a core group of users and expand, add or subtract licenses whenever you need to. Another question we have, where is this data hosted? If you're sending file attachments and messages using the Cobweb Advanced Email Encryption platform, where does the data reside? The answer is that data resides in the UK, in our data centers here. So if you're sending information and messages using the platform, rest assured that data will never leave the UK. One last question. What type of email platform do you need to be able to take advantage of the Advanced Email Encryption platform, to be able to use it to send and receive files securely? And the answer is any email platform. It's completely independent of your email environment, and it requires zero customization or interference within your current email platform. So if you're already on Cobweb Hosted Exchange, if you're using another Exchange provider, if you're already on Office 365, or you're considering a move to Office 365 in the near future, there's no difference to the platform. It's simply an add-on or a wrap to your existing services. It does not interfere with your email platform in any way. So what I'd like to do now is just take you through a brief tour of this solution and show you a couple interesting points of the secure messaging platform for your consideration. Again, feel free to add any questions, feedback, or thoughts into the GoToMeeting console. And if there are any more questions, we'll be sure to answer those before the end of the call today. What you're now seeing in this particular browser is an example of one way to access the secure messaging platform, one way to be able to read secure messages as well as compose new ones and add files and send those files to internal recipients or external recipients. So this is a simple webmail portal. You'll notice at the top there a branded banner, Cobweb Secure Email. That's because I'm a Cobweb employee, so my secure messaging portal is branded to my business. For any Cobweb customers, your secure messaging portal and application will carry your business's branding. And that's important for ownership, but it's also important to boost brand awareness. When you're sending messages out to your customers, to your partners, to people that you do business with, they will see your branding first and foremost wrapped all around the solution, and they know that you take data privacy and data security very seriously. Accessing messages is as simple as selecting the message. We can easily compose new content. We can send these messages to really anyone that we want. This is, at the end of the day, a very simple webmail portal, but with a few things that you won't find within your regular email. If you look over on the right-hand side, we have the delivery slip. You'll remember that the delivery slip is affixed to every single secure message that's composed or received using this tool. So when I'm composing a new message, I can, of course, add as many file attachments as I want, but I can also add some interesting controls here which really allow me to get more out of secure messaging than just simple security and data protection. I can add a reply freeze or a forward freeze functionality to any message that I'm sending. If I don't want this particular message or this file to be shared with other users, or I don't want this message to turn into a long internal conversation, I can add both a reply and a forward freeze, ensuring that any recipients are not able to reply or forward this message. We also have For Your Eyes Only functionality, and that's a way to add additional authentication and security to a particular message. If you're sending content to someone that has an assistant, or perhaps you're sending content to someone with a shared mailbox, you can ensure the safe transmission of your message and your file attachments by forcing the recipient to enter a unique password every time they access that particular message. Now, what about for messages that I've already sent? If I open up my sent folder, I can choose a message. I can see when the recipient has viewed this particular message over on the right-hand side on the delivery slip. I know if they've replied or forwarded this message. I also know if they've printed or if they've deleted this particular message. This has nothing to do with encryption or security. This is simply a productivity benefit of the platform, allowing you to have a fully transparent picture of what is happening to messages after they leave your mail environment. If we sent this message in error, we can certainly recall instantly this message. We can revoke access to this particular message. We can add an optional note here explaining why we're retracting this message, or we can simply click recall. All recipients will immediately lose access to this content. I know based on the delivery slip if my recipients have read this message, but now I know that they no longer have access to this message or the ability to download the file attachment. Now, the webmail portal is certainly useful to be able to access messages wherever you are, but as I said, it's nothing truly innovative. Where we really see interest in the product, where we really see differentiation between this product and what's out there in the marketplace is the integration into Outlook. If I switch my screen over here, you'll notice that I'm in Outlook 2013. That's just a coincidence. You can really use any version of Outlook back till 2003. We'll also soon be releasing an integration with Outlook for Mac or MacMail, allowing you to seamlessly send and receive content no matter what operating system you're currently using. Viewing secure messages in Outlook using the Outlook toolbar is simple, as the Outlook toolbar will render this content for us. It'll show us the delivery slip. It'll show us who has accessed this particular message and what they've done with the message. But it also shows us perhaps who has ignored this message. Who do we need to follow up with to ensure that everyone has access to this content? Composing a new secure message in Outlook is also easy. Simply selecting new secure message or composing a new email, opening the delivery slip, and selecting the portal that we wish to send this message from. Some examples perhaps of secure content sent and received on the left-hand side. Maybe we're discussing a business arrangement where we are detailing a lower than usual price to a particular customer. We don't want this low pricing to be shared elsewhere or to be released to other customers, so we want to make sure that we're adding a forward freeze to this particular message. Now, we spoke briefly at the beginning of the webinar about human error and the impact that human error has on the adoption of new technology and new systems, and how it often is the probably most prominent cause of any data breach or issues where data is shared when it should not be shared. If I compose a new secure message, a new regular email, so I did not click new secure, and I decide to send this to Derek, and I'm asking Derek what his Visa number is because I need to process a payment. With the secure messaging platform, you have the ability to enact data leak prevention right from Outlook. You can create a customized list of words, phrases, or really any regular expression to ensure that information that should be sent secure is always sent secure. So that could be payment details, that could be any number in the format of a credit card number, a national insurance number, perhaps an NHS number, or really any other data that you want to force your employees to send secure. Now, what about outside of Outlook? What about outside of the webmail portal? How else can you access this content? If you're using any hosted email platform and you're also using the Chrome browser, we have a Chrome extension that allows you to render secure content right from within your Gmail inbox or Hotmail inbox or really any inbox that's using Chrome. Again, this is a way to inject security and productivity without changing the way that employees are working, without changing the way that people are going about their day-to-day business. We don't want to disrupt, we don't want to interrupt, we want to enhance and add security to the way people are already working. And finally, we have thick client applications available currently on any iOS device or on any Android device. BlackBerry and Windows 8 applications are also coming soon. But this allows you to access, send and receive secure content wherever you are, as long as you have your mobile device. Now, again, what I'd like to do is just pause for a couple of minutes here, and we'll see if we have any questions. So any questions, thoughts, or feedback, or if there's really anything else that you'd potentially like to discuss. For example, what's different between this platform and what you're already using. Feel free to just use the GoToMeeting console there. So a couple more questions that we have. One, does the solution have to be deployed company-wide? Can you pick and choose particular users to have licenses for? And the answer is absolutely yes. Often customers that are curious about this platform or would like to try the platform, of course, a 30-day free trial is available for the service, and you can also deploy licenses only to users that would need the solution. You certainly do not have to buy a license for everyone in the organization. So again, that's a 30-day trial is available for the solution. The solution is a simple price point of $5.25 per user per month, and that does not have to be purchased for the entire organization. You can pick and choose which users should have licenses for the product. And again, the product is available as a standalone or as an addition to your existing Cobweb Hosted Exchange or Office 365 services. Now, one last question we have is in regards to the usability of the solution. Is it an easy-to-use product? Is this something that you can get set up and running in a couple of minutes? Does it require complex installation and whatnot? And the answer is it's a very simple product. We use it internally here at Cobweb. We often deploy it to partners as well to use internally. And the solution can be set up in a couple of hours on our end. Typically, we take 2 to 3 business days to process an order, to make sure that any branding is applied, to make sure that any integration with an email archive is also applied. But in terms of getting set up on the solution, once you're registered, you're up and running within seconds. Downloading the Outlook toolbar is as easy as going into the webmail platform, downloading the toolbar, then authenticating the toolbar. So that's almost all the time that we have for the session. Please feel free to enter in any additional questions, thoughts, feedback into the GoToMeeting webinar console. But if there are no questions, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate your attention and enjoy your weekend.